All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the American Dota League. It's Season 2. It is the last game, the last series of the night. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Isurus Gaming versus Top 5, and, well, we just saw Meepo pick, and I don't know if we'll see it again, but honestly, after that game, I think we've seen enough Meepo for a while. But great game to start things off with this series, obviously jumping into the second game of a best-of-2 series, or I guess a two-game series here on twitch.tv/American Dota League. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mott. With me tonight is, of course, Kala Guy. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, and I'm happy to take this one home with you, and we'll see what happens. Now, Isurus Gaming have always been a bit questionable when they run their non-orthodox kind of lineups, so we'll see if they want to stick to their more clean-cut kind of draft style, or if they want to pull out another spicy pickup for themselves and take it to top 5. And top 5 were not so lucky there in their debut matchup in the ADL, so I'm sure they're going to come into this one pretty hungry. No Ember Spirit ban just yet. We haven't seen them all night. The Lycan, the Naga, and the Ember all usually immediately banned out. So we'll see if we finally get the opportunity for top 5 to grab it for themselves.
Yeah, and we will see. Obviously, they'll have the first pick if they want to grab it. They'll ban out the Dazzle. They want to make sure they maybe get that Ember, but instead they might just get an Ancient Apparition or something along those lines. Maybe even a Bat Rider. But yeah, top 5, a team that honestly they're decent. They're a strong quality team, and they will get a chance at this Ember if they want it. It's their choice now, and I'm surprised Pat Soul just couldn't get any farm out. It's not really his fault. Their trial lane just wasn't good in comparison to the heal bomb, Dazzle kind of thing coming out, and that's why I think they banned the Dazzle. It makes sense just to make sure that they don't have to deal with it this game, and it wasn't even the Grave that is usually the problem. It's the Shadow Wave this time around, so is it the Ember? And I guess
yeah,
we'll
why are you waiting so long? Just pick the Ember already.
Maybe they're not comfortable with it. I mean, I don't know.
There's no way they'd let it through. Come on, top 5, stop stalling. All right, you're gonna grab the Ember. Just pick it up right now.
They're really thinking though, because that means if they pick the Ember now, they give up maybe an AA, and I guess that's okay. I'm maybe missing another hero. I know the Bat was banned, the Naga, the Lycan, obviously. Dazzle.
Invoker is also still
yeah, that's
there.
true. Yeah.
And so if they could either want to have a dominant performance if they feel confident in their Invoker play, or just go with the Ember. I mean, maybe they're like, okay, guys, we get the Ember. Who could play it?
Well,
I mean, I don't know what it could be. I mean,
the Ember is, I think, better than the Invoker because I think Ember's probably having a better matchup against the Invoker with Sleight of Fist. And while they go for the Invoker instead, surprisingly enough, that leaves Isurus open to that option. I'm surprised. I guess it comes down because early on, Invoker can kind of outlane the Ember to a certain extent, but once he gets his levels up in his Sleight of Fist and Searing Chains, then all of a sudden you kind of have to be careful as the Invoker. So it's interesting.
It's interesting that they banned the Dazzle then. I mean, Dazzle's always a great pickup, don't get me wrong, as support, or maybe top 5 have a particular lineup where they don't want to be even bother going against everything Dazzle has to bring to the table. But, you know, just to not do the typical Ember Spirit ban there and allow now Isurus to pick it up, or maybe they feel that Isurus don't have a competent Ember player. I mean, there are a lot of questions, so we'll see. And wow, they actually don't even go for it. So, I mean, we might not see an Ember pop out altogether because Storm Spirit, I would figure, be the mid laner for Isurus Gaming. You know, unless top 5 want to pick it as a safe lane for themselves, they can do that here. So it's just, wow, it's been a long time since I've seen him make it through the first phase.
Yeah, and actually I kind of like that. Well, we're not yet set in stone on him, of course, getting through, obviously. Storm, I've seen him played in safe lane. The last time was DK versus CIS, and actually Burning played him uncharacteristically poorly. So a game that really just went the way of CIS, obviously. And Storm Spirit I've seen in safe lanes before do work. Static Remnant Overload's so good.
Right?
Yeah, Mason does play him in that safe lane a lot for EG when he's there. Obviously, well, he won't be there, sadly, this upcoming Star Ladder at Kiev. EE's standing in for him, but all the best of luck to EG and the rest of the competitors at Kiev there. So, well, here at the ADL, we're in the middle of a draft for, I think, a pretty important game. This kind of determines whether or not, you know, Isurus can get back to at least 500, or if top 5 can, you know, show up and at least split the series with a team that was 0-2 coming into this. And like you said, safe lane Ember is a possibility, but other options are available, and please don't be an AA. I would like to see no AA this game, I think. All right, cool. Rasta, that works. I'll take that. Nice.
Ross is a funky, fresh pickup, you know, that we see fairly frequently. More often than not on the dire side, just because you want to be able to take early advantage of maybe a potential Roche grab for yourselves. But can't hate on him regardless. Have plenty of lockdown and disabled help with Hex and Shackles. But of course, the illustrious set of Serpent Wards are probably the crucial point to Shadow Shaman. That heavy push factor just works so well. And, you know, they can always now fall back on a Invoker Quas Exor kind of a build up with the help of the Forge Spirits and just enhance their push abilities even further. If you want to go extra dirty, you can get a hold of that Nature's Prophet or what have you. So, we'll see. It's anyone's game. No information really out there this early in the draft from either team. So we just have to see what happens.
We've seen 4 Invoker pickups tonight. All 3 of them have been Quas Exort thus far. So it'd be interesting to see if he breaks the trend, especially because, like you mentioned, Forge Spirits with the pushing potential of the Serpent Wards. And on top of that, Hex and Shackles are very good to hit Sunstrikes and line those up. I mean, like, the Shackle's such a long duration. It's really easy. It's a lot like a Shadow Demon Disruption. It's a lot like, even a War Trap to a certain extent. A lot like Cogs as well. So they have that option to go for Quas Exort. If they want Teamfight, if they want to make sure this Storm has a miserable time, go EMP, and that might be the choice for them. So there's a couple of options there. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the drafts continues onward. Speaking of the Shadow Demon, it's going to be picked up for Isurus game. They had it last game, and honestly, I think Nahydra, I believe it was, played that just to not necessarily perfection, but very well. So we'll see if it works out again.
They definitely showed they have some good team synergy and coordination with how they set that up with the Sunstrike and just getting the pinnacle pickoffs with it. So they grab it up again for themselves because you got a good thing. Why not keep it going? They had a very interesting ban banning out His Highness the King, Wraith King. Interesting enough. But so I couldn't help but notice that. But now for top 5, a hero, a great support that we don't get to see very often. At least I never really get to see his hero anymore, especially in like maybe these second tier kind of games and tourney play. It's just Enchantress, just a wonderful hero with a lot of aggressiveness. Obviously a good jungle player in her own right rather. But you throw a smoke on her and you get some early pickoffs, potentially on that mid lane Storm Spirit before he gets to level 6, and you're gonna look at the start of a very good snowball.
The problem here is, I don't know. I mean, like, it seems like top 5 are just forgetting about that last game where they got aggro Trilate on and pretty much shut down so hard that it was unbelievable. They threw up the Enchantress, and at least he'll get something out of the jungle if that lane's going poorly and can roam in and gank if necessary. But with Centaur and Shadow Demon again, maybe it's still a problem. I guess they are not that concerned because there's no Dazzle to combine up with that Shadow Wave and do that damage, but you still have to think about the damage coming through from the Centaur and the Shadow Demon and Soul Catcher and what have you. I love Enchantress personally because she is that damage dealer with Impetus later on in the game, and she's quite difficult to deal with, and she can have many decent ganks go her way. I prefer her to the Chen, honestly. I don't know, some people are kind of one way or another, but for me, Enchantress just kind of scales a bit better into the late game, so we'll see how it goes. Isurus now, they've got a choice. They go for a support, maybe they go for their safe lane, or a mid if that Storm Spirit's going to be the safe lane hero, maybe even in an aggro try, which would be kind of weird. But I've seen stranger things before, like a safe lane Meepo specifically has been kind of interesting. So,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting to note too that I think between the two, an Enchantress and a Chen would have been a pretty decent pickup, I think, for top 5. They want to keep on their push, keep on their push ways and bring that forward. But nope, that's not going to be the case. Enchantress, we'll just see if they can make it work. And I mean, nothing too crazy about this break up right here. The Illustrious and Mirana going side by side with the Shadow Demon. So sweet and sexy, disruption, and sacred arrows to come.
Yeah, that's no real surprise. We talked about it in the first couple of games, I think. We talked about it first game especially. Well, we've talked about it a lot. Shadow Demon Mirana arrows, it's pretty much guaranteed, I guess. I mean, there are chances where you can miss it from time to time, but for the most part, that Mirana should be hitting those arrows as long as no one's body blocking or anything gets in the way. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be nice if they can hit an arrow and take somebody out with a quick maybe pick off, especially early on, but the question comes, is this going to be enough for their carry? And is this Mirana even going to be a carry and maybe not a support Mirana, maybe that we're used to seeing from time and time again? So it comes down to how our Isurus want to lane it and what they want to do with this last pick. But first of all, we have to see what top 5 are going to do with this next pick.
Yeah, they need to look to get a little more late game for themselves. And I mean, if Nahaz is still watching the chat, I would love the interesting stat to find out how many drafts do we get to see neither picked or banned the Ember Spirit, because it's looking like we're not going to even see him picked or banned outright. And that's just such a rare sight. I can't help but laugh about it. But man, look at this. Another Jungle Dweller, Nature's Prophet picked up. This is turning into a hot mess of pushing power coming their way.
You talked about this earlier. Actually, you called it, so I'll give you props for that, my friend. You spotted out the Nature's Prophet pickup coming out for top 5, and this is kind of greedy, though, because in the off lane, any one of these heroes in this game, and especially going up against the Storm Spirit, who's like one of the direct counters to a Nature's Prophet, is very, very, very questionable. So Isurus Gaming have this draft, and they're like, all right, well, that's fine, okay. And just as you talked about how it's not going to get picked or banned, well, Rip it. Sorry, my friend, that unfortunately did get banned out. So
that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's just no way. It just has. Like, you just got to get it out of the way. I mean, I don't even think it would have fit too likely in top five's lineup. I mean, but I guess they could have always grabbed it up if they had the opportunity, but they won't now. I mean, you know, Invoker and Nature's Prophet, they can definitely become something in the late game, but as far as reliable, I mean, I don't know. But then again, you also risk if you pick up another heavy hitting core that you're going to have a pretty greedy team. So I'm just really curious to see how top five are going to formulate their whole team here with their fifth and final grab.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They very squishy, very greedy, very gankable.
If
I'd say,
like, I just want to say, like, if for some reason Nature's Prophet, if he goes off lane, let's say, and we see him all over the place. You know, I've even seen, I believe, MSS play him in the mid lane too. I mean, it's crazy. So, but if he goes in the off lane, has a terrible time going against whoever may be, if it's Shadow Demon Mirana, he might not be able to fall back on a jungle, especially if you have an Enchantress on your team.
That's true. I mean, and we've talked about the problems of sharing a jungle with another hero, and it's a very real issue. And the PSAs are going out all over the place for Nature's Prophets, Enchantress, and junglers everywhere. Just make sure you properly share your jungle, or else you're going to have no farm, essentially. So for top five, I mean, right now, they've got this lineup that if it doesn't work out early on, and there's no way they can take it late. I mean, yes, they have the Shadow Shaman Super Wards, but it comes down to, can they secure the farm? And up against this hyper-aggressive, I'd say, lineup, especially with the Slark, very aggressive coming out right now. So not only do they have Pounce, they've got Arrow, they've got Disruption, Stomp, they've got the Electric Vortex. They have ways to not only close the gap, but just bring the stuns to you, essentially. And top five are a lineup that they are maybe excel at pushing, but how much pushing are they going to be doing if they're getting shut down very early on?
It's just so funny. Top five actually respect banned the Meepo there with the last and final ban. So instead, Isurus Gaming grab up that Slark, another evil little looking creature. But Slark's one of those heroes, man. He can snowball out of control. We'll see if Isurus Gaming can make it happen for themselves. I'm not quite sure if this is a hero that fullback is very confident in or not, but we'll have to wait and see. And for top five's final pick, they're going to grab up the Juggernaut. And you know, I'm intrigued by this enough. He has a little bit of that extra magic immunity in case he gets locked down, and you know, I would imagine he'll be popping it a lot in case he's contesting the Mirana. So we'll have to see how it works out.
I think this is interesting. I feel like, all right, first of all, I don't know the interaction between Shadow Dance and Omni Slash, but I'm pretty sure it goes away once you Shadow Dance. Secondly, it goes away if you ball lightning out of the range, I believe, of the Omni Slash. So for whatever reason, they picked the Juggernaut. Maybe it's something Pat Soul is comfortable with, but they actually have the Healing Ward, which is nice to keep them alive in fights, and the Nature's Attendance, which also helps them. Maybe that's what they're going for, but it seems like a questionable pick at best. And we'll see if he can get enough farm to be very effective with it. Aghanim Scepter might not even be the choice this game just because of the reasons I mentioned. And here it comes again. It's that aggressive trialing like I talked about, at least for right now for Isurus Gaming. So we'll see. Speaking of Isurus, getting into this last and final game of the evening, we got DDX. He'll be on that Storm Spirit, probably going mid in just a second. 999 on the Centaur Warrunner again. Papita will be on the Mirana, and the Hydra on the Shadow Demon this time around again. And to round it all out, the top lane, solo safe, fullback for the time being on the Slark.
And on top five, we got Shanks over here on the Shadow Shaman. He's going to be going into a bit of a rough bind right here. He has to be careful. It's a very aggressive Isurus Gaming are already scouting out the remainder of the jungle. Nearby, you see Whatever playing the Enchantress, and I don't want to divert my camera too far as they're looking to make a move in. The range of Disruption Arrow to fly. It's going to catch.
Oh, it hit! It hit! Will they disrupt? Will they go for a disruption now? They have to go for a disruption. No, that was such a long arrow. Now they're going to stomp up in just a second. They hit it, Shanks. Well played, Isurus. What an arrow from Papita. Long range, sniping him through the trees. Goodness gracious.
Just hiding the arrow right through the tree so he couldn't see it coming. Just perfectly placed. Very nice execution coming out. And just like that, before we even get on the official clock, we got our first blood. So very nice for them. Rounding out the rest of the introductions, by the way. Mid lane, it is going to be Fly on the Invoker, and in your off lane we got Respect My Authority on your Nature's Prophet. The last, actually, Juggernaut, of course, is going to be Pat Soul, which I was going to go on a further note on why they probably pick up the Jug. One of the small points is, you know, the Healing Ward will help with the push power. You know, if they get a lot of those creeps all together, the Healing Ward will definitely enhance their durability so they can wreak havoc in these lanes. But a bit of a tip here on the side. Oh, nicely timed out with the Disruption and the arrow. They're looking to make a go on Whatever, and they're going to get it. Very nice. Veals for dinner, boys, as Papita and the Hydra quickly pick up the Mirana.
And this is how aggressive they're going to be. They're going to make sure this Enchantress gets shut down. If not, obviously Pat Soul or whoever. And I think Pat Soul maybe goes for this Juggernaut because you could Blade Fury right out of the Shadow Demon's Disruption. But they're going to go mid. Invoker, well, there's the Disruption. Guess what? That arrow's going to fly through as well. It hits the Soul Catcher as well. Fly. This is a roaming death squad for Isurus. They 3 for 3 in Shadow Demon Disruption arrow combos coming out for Pepita and the Hydra. But they have to go home. They're a bit low, but they've accomplished a pretty good mission already.
Yeah, this is the quota that, you know, most of your Shadow Demon Maranas are hoping for in, like, just the whole early game. And they've already done it, like, 3 different times now. Just putting on a clinic with this combo setup. It's just so corny, but it's working so nicely. And all the meanwhile, the off lane for Nature's Prophet, it's a bit rough right here. You're going against this Slark, and he's kind of, you know, showing his cojones in the lane, asserting his dominance, and you can't really go back to the jungle, so he's using the help of his little flower squad there to ensure some last hits and kind of harass back this Slark.
Yeah, they're actually going to look for a gank top, though, and you've got to be careful. They've been missing off the map for a while, and you have to assume the next logical step is top lane, but Enchantress is looking for a gank mid, so I don't know who to look first. It looks like Enchantress is going to go ahead right now, look for a stomp. Invoker, Cold Snap's going to go through. There's the enchant. The stomp is about to fly, trying to juke at DDX in a bad spot. There it goes. It's going to be the Sunstrike leading him up. He'll fall down. Slark gets the kill top on the Furion. Unfortunately, I couldn't have 2 cameras at the same different places at once, so 1-for-1 trade there. Nice gank on that mid lane on that Storm Spirit, but top lane, they get a kill for fullback.
Yep, I mean, top 5 just happy to finally be on the board, but we're already at 5 kills at just over what was 2 minutes, so very aggressive game coming out so far. Pat Soul feeling pretty confident just going toe-to-toe against the Centaur, but mid lane, nice shackle. They're going to try to grab out. Can they take down the Storm? They can. They make it easy. We talked about it in the draft, the Enchantress doing what she does, moving to the mid lane and taking care of that Storm Spirit before he has the mobility of that Ball Lightning. So good quota to meet. They get it done right away and move on 2-4 now for Isurus Gaming.
Another smoke coming out from Isurus right now. The action doesn't stop yet. But the thing is, Shank's getting a haste rune. Without that, he probably doesn't go for the kill. And the tower was getting pushed in. There was no creep wave there from the Dire team. Down bottom, TP in. Now they're trying to catch out 999. Blade Fury going. He's very tanky. Nice disruption to make sure that Blade Fury not doing enough damage. They can stomp it up. Pat Soul taking the damage. 999 will back away. Sunstrike! Not enough damage. 999 surviving, but just barely. That Exhort not leveled up enough. Oh baby, that was some close stuff right there.
That quick move over coming in, man. Nihydra just helping out.
Fly! He got arrowed. Pepita long range. Do they have the vortex up? No, the remnant might be enough. Fly getting pulled in finally. He just skilled it up. DDX. How many kills are we gonna have here, man?
Pepita is just going crazy right now in this Marana. Getting all the perfect setups, doing great job with the arrows. Digging into his inner Sing, making it happen, man. This little combo's been doing some serious work. Bit of the Bash Brothers, if you will.
Yeah, this is impressive play coming out right now. They're going to maybe try to get this Invis rune. There's going to be the Enchantress roaming through. The Nature's Prophet's rotated to the jungle, at least for now. He's got his boots finally. Phase will be done next, I'd imagine. There's going to be the Invis. Center Stomp misses on the Hydra. It looked like he took some damage from the right click. Now, maybe Shank's going to come through. He's got shackles. He is way out of position. Sunstrike, TP in, the Hydra taking a lot of damage. Will he die? We'll see. Getting right click down. There's the stop up. Shanks falls. 1-for-1 trade. Pepita, 999. They'll back off. They want to make their way out of there, but I like this. This is fun. This is enjoyable.
This is a great game, and they're getting a lot going. And props to Isurus Gaming. They're diverting all the attention away from fullback in this top lane. He's just doing whatever he wants because the rest of the lanes on top 5 side, they have to worry about this Marana combo just making their moves from lane to lane to lane. It's keeping him scared. It's keeping him on the back foot, and Slark's just laughing to himself the whole time.
Yeah, he really is, and he's got his treads already. He's got an Orb of Venom as well. Probably build up into a Lothar's. Mid lane, Fly might get disrupted, but there's no arrow to follow up, and they're actually sitting with whatever mid. Nobody wants to stop the aggression, but they might meet head-on here as fullback's going to run right into whatever, and Shanks might get shackled. He's got Dark Pact. He's got Shadow Dance. Didn't use either. Just pounds his away, heads back top as, well, that's where the Furion's going as well, so he just wants to continue to get CS, realizing that maybe mid's not the best place to be.
Nature's Prophet trying to meet his quota, getting that Midas hopefully very quickly. We'll see if he decides to move into enhanced pushing power by picking up the good book. That's the Necro book, if you will, and try to just enhance more power for himself. But right now he's just still content, playing very far back cautiously against the Slark. Doesn't want to get pounced on. But we are going to see a bit of a tip potentially here. Centaur, 999, doing the role of Centaur once again. Look at Initiate here in the mid lane, coming in from behind. There it is. Stampede to run in. Nice pull. They're going to get him back. Sunstrike in desperation, but it will not matter. Full rotation to come. Disruption. Nice. On the Shadow Shaman. They're going to get another for themselves if they keep going right here. And
arrow, maybe.
Nope, he will go by. Nope. Oh, no.
Right click from Pepita. He's got no mana for that arrow.
Mana.
He already used it as well. It's on cooldown for another 2 seconds. So, yeah. A big gag to Stampede just getting online there. All the while, fullback looking at that harass going through up against Respect My Authority. He's going to, of course, right-click him a bit with the tower going his way, but Shadow Dance is just too good at regenning, so not even an issue. Storm grabs a regen rune right now. You mentioned how he was slippery once he hits level 6. They ganked him twice, and they did a nice job there, but he's back in it. I mean, he's level 6 now, and bottom, Pat Soul. He's got Omni, and he's got Blade Fury. He's got ways to deal with the aggression that's going to be coming through. They have this Observer Ward as well, so now Pat Soul's like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to be... Well, he maybe is baiting this a bit, as guess who's roaming? Well, whatever doesn't have that much mana, though, which is the problem. And
he just knows that if he moves in, he can just go to quick spin and be able to get away from any trouble. So he's just trying to still soak up as much XP as possible, unless it's absolutely too crucial to stay that close. So for now, he's just got to play cautiously and safe, try to build in some farm. It's not exactly at the level he'd like to be, but he's trying to work toward it.
And I do want to talk about that Nature's Prophet. And Bulldog said this a while ago. I think it was on Stream Chat somewhere, that when you are a Nature's Prophet, you want to go for phase as early as possible, just to be kind of involved in team fights as much as possible. But the thing is, he's been involved in a couple of kills here and there. I mean, he's got 1 kill. Yes, he's got a death to his name as well, but I guess maybe he can still go for this Midas and be A-okay, assuming that obviously he gets farm from it and he can get that phase up rather quickly, but that means he won't have that presence with those phase boots, which they might like to have against some of these tankier heroes. Still, 7 minutes in, and there's already about a 3,000 gold lead going the way of Isurus, which we saw in the previous game. Experience-wise, it's the same story, so...
I can't help but feel, though, that this Nature's Prophet's still going to have a bit of a hard time. I mean, Storm Spirit's one of those heroes that's just like already an arch nemesis to him. Being able to have a great initiate and jumping across with the ball lightning, of course, Centaur with the Stampede, you can really try to take care of the Nature's Prophet's island before he even knows what's coming. So we'll see if it ends up working in their benefit. And you also have to consider the Moonlight Shadow Man. That's going to probably play a big factor. They've been playing aggressive already, so I would imagine that they're going to use the benefit of that invisibility to make more plays than try to defend.
Yeah, I'd agree. And another issue, because I was looking at the supports levels, now that you mentioned Moonlight Shadow, which is almost there. It's level 5 now for the Mirana. It's level 3 for the roster right now for Shanks, and that's... You really wish you had more to go on. And it's not even like he's died. He's died twice, which I guess is a bit. And he did go down to, of course, the first blood. But still, you would like to have him at least at 4 or 5 right now. And it's rough. So...
Yep, it's rough. We're at a pause, which happens from time to time with a lot of these South American teams as they're looking to figure it out, though. And, yeah. But if you haven't already, I mean, I feel like we go to this plug way too much, but $3.99 ticket in the store. Get it. Sweet and sexy. Monolith, black, minimalistic hug. Looks good. You'll feel good. Well, I think we're ready now. We'll get this pause underway.
That's perfect timing. Nicely timed there as the Slug resumes the game. And as a reminder, this is the last game of the evening, and it actually looks like this is maybe the last game for some time, unless we get some things scheduled a bit later on in the week. But maybe our next matchup looking to be about Tuesday, April 22nd, which will be CNB versus Shadows of the Past. That'll be a good series, I think, coming out. But as of right now, we're still in this one. We're still looking to find a victor. Maybe going to see a 1-1 split or 2-0 sweep for Isurus. Who knows? I mean, right now... Arrow maybe flying through a Pepita. He actually gets hexed up the Sunstrike. The Omni Slash blown up. Nice double edge, but 999. He's got to leave now. Maybe use that stick charge to keep yourself alive for a bit longer. Doesn't matter. Top 5 on the back of a pause. They turn a couple of kills and get them going their way, but fullback and the Hydra are looking to maybe hunt and try to find a pick off here.
You asked for Shanks to get a couple of levels. That definitely helps. They get a nice quick pick off, take out 2. He moves on to level 4.5 now, so nice little boost for himself. And good work with the Shackle combo and the Sunstrike as they quickly take down the Mirana before she can even leap away from it. So nice bit of momentum in their favor. You know, definitely still in this one. Had to be cautious, though. The Slark is going to be a problem. It's just going to come down to how you can contain the problem and how you can just make sure you don't feed up too much. So top lane, though, Furion picks up a DD, and he's just going to make the full rotation all the way to the top.
Yeah, they were trying to pressure mid a bit. They put some damage on the tower, but like you mentioned, now there's a couple heroes mid for Isurus. Looks like they might have gotten caught out. His fly maybe spotted them there. No vision really coming the Radiant way over in the jungle as of right now, and Nahydra and the rest of his Isurus are making their home down in this bottom lane in jungle, which means that Patsol's got to be very wary. The thing is, they haven't ganked him in a while, and he's actually at 37 CS, so he's not doing poorly. 999 maybe ready to jump in with the stomp, but he's got no blink, no way to initiate. DDX, however, he is the one that does. Maybe the Blade Fury going to go just in time. Now Patsol's got to back away, and the rest of Isurus maybe not going to go for the gank now that the Blade Fury was used. DDX wants to dive further. There's the ball lightning. It's level 1 still. Patsol very deep. They know exactly where he is. There's the right click. Omni not ready. Down for 40 seconds. There's the Stampede. Soul Catcher. Patsol about to fall. And will they finally deal with the Patsol problem? And in turn, maybe put some damage on this tier 1 tower, but they're going to go back and defend mid in the meantime.
The problem was, I guess a lot of his team didn't have the TPs available to make something happen. There's maybe 2 if you count the Nature's Prophet and the Rasta, but not much else to really contend in style. They want to make something happen in the mid lane. The Big Bird trying the last hit. Can he get it? Oh no, he falls!
My lord.
Someone denied that thing! There it is! No, they destroyed in the end. Enchantress feeds herself over to get it, and ultimately 2 fall down in the end.
That trade probably. I mean, it was actually only the Enchantress because it was the Juggernaut who was dead earlier. So I guess it was 1 for the tower. I guess considering you got the last hit, it might be okay. I think it's fine probably for top 5. That they wanted that tower and they got it. And they couldn't even get the tier 1 tower bottom that they were pressuring so heavily earlier. So Isurus back off. They lose the tower, but in the end, they're still doing well. I mean, they have the highest net worth right now. The game's still rather close. The gold lead has actually dipped back up in favor of top 5 a bit. It's 1,000 still for Isurus, but that's not much at 10 minutes in. Well, about 3,000 experience as well going for Isurus, and that's the bigger lead going their way. So they have the Juggernaut. They have potential late game. They can push with Necros coming out for both the Invoker, coming out both for the Invoker and the Nature's Prophet. He's actually already building his straight up. He's not even going for that Midas right now, which is something you rarely see.
Yeah. Right into the Necro book immediately. Just really want to be able to be very push savvy here. So imagine him and the Enchantress and all company really trying to get something going with the help of the wards. They can sneak in towers very, very quickly and force Isurus to either, address the push that's coming their way or try to go for the team fight. So it's going to come down to pretty crucial decision making, especially on the side of Isurus Gaming.
There's no Serpent Wards just yet. They could stop this push if they want. Arrows flying. It is going to hit whatever. Look at that damage. Healing Ward is up. He can use his Nature's Attendants. No follow-up damage coming through. They want to try to trade mid, but already this tower about to fall bottom. So Patsol trying to get the last hit. It's going to go for the Furion. Now the TP's coming through. Patsol's going to head mid, trying to push fullback back. And he's got that Omni Slash ready to go. There is pretty much no creep wave. It is running in right now. Patsol ready to defend at a moment's notice. Static Remnant's going to go. Everyone else just walking to this mid lane right now, just trying to defend. And Isurus, they've got to be very careful. There is that fort. They're going to use it. Patsol's got to back away, but here comes the Rasta. Shanks, level 5. Now Hex is up. Nice pounds. The right click. DDX gets the tower. He's going to ball lightning away. And well, that was close, but they can't get anything done with it. Top 5 cannot pick up a kill there.
I like that. That was a bit crafty. They ended up getting the tower in the end, so, props to Isurus Gaming. And for normal other circumstances on Mirana's, I would kind of raise my eyebrow at the mass leveling of the arrow. Oh, top lane, they're looking to go on Nature's Prophet.
He's got no mana left.
He has no mana. Auto attack, one more. Got it! He got it. He's a man on the run now with the help of Stampede, but the Sunstrike, oh, very low, but not quite enough. He might run to a bit of a tree problem here. Nope, will not get pincered.
Cold snap.
Oh,
he's still alive.
Magic wand helping out.
He's got ball lightning enough to get out. Fullback's tanking the tower, bodyguarding him just to get out. Moonlight Shadow even further to make sure they survive this. And they'll get 2 free kills. And top 5 are like, are you kidding? We can't even get this Storm Spirit who's out of mana right now. That's got to be the most frustrating thing in the world. Oh, and they're not done yet. Fly gets jumped on, blown up with the Moonlight Shadow. And another kill going the way of Isurus as they're owning once again. This game looking very solid.
Wow. Very impressive. I'm surprised they'll be able to get away. They're getting all these little, mischievous pickoffs and quick catches of the tower, and they're able to get away with it. It's quite impressive on their behalf so far. It's definitely not quite the same Isurus Gaming team we had saw before, but right now they're really asserting their dominance here, pushing forward now in the top lane. Here comes that crafty tornado. Look out, Helen Hunt. A Twister is coming. Is it going to stop them from pushing in? I doubt it. Nice Ether Shock, but nope, you're going to pay for that one, Shanks. It was a good defense. Oh, Brief Sheep, and the help of the Fort Spirits and the Cold Snap. Disruption to fly out, and I might eat my words. Nope, Shanks will end up going down in the end, unfortunately. And even dominates.
Fullback now taking Blade Fury damage. He's running under the tower, arrow flying through just to make sure Fullback is escorted out safely. The Shadow Dance passive about to go to work here as soon as he gets past this creep wave, but Yeah, that was close. They actually lost the Centaur. The Sunstrike. Oh! Oh, man. Oh.
Very nice from Fly.
Wow. Impressive.
It was aggressive.
Yeah. That's something else. That's one of the first that he's hit that really has gotten a kill secured for him. A lot of that's because that is level 4 Exhort, which means the Sunstrike damage now 287.5. Some decent nuke potential there, especially against some of the squishier heroes as it's a bit early on now. So the Slark dies, and they get a free tier 1 tower top as they're continuing to mount this aggression. And suddenly it looks like the pressure is on now for Isurus. Yes, you've got a kill lead, but the pressure coming in from the pushes is going to be very real soon with Treants, with the Forge Spirits, the Necro very soon for the Nature's Prophet. Actually, buy it now, I believe, or very close to it anyways. Stampede to get away down bottom on DDX is going to TP out, and that'll be the end of any sort of pushing or aggression. Well, actually, Enchantress, I did not know 99 was there. He got sunstruck to death with the Enchantress right-clicking him.
Yeah, immediately catch off, got a little too greedy apparently, but man, top 5 looking to build up a little bit of a posse for themselves with all the help of those creeps, and they're actually congested here in the bottom lane. Tier 1's already been taken down, but they might consider actually moving in for the Tier 2. Now, Nature's Prophet back in the base will TP, and they actually are looking to commit on this. Here we go. Let's build up the gang here. Looking to push on forward. The book is actually already out. There go the Forge Spirits. Look at this rumbling crew here. Moving on in. Wow, the wards too. They want this tower real bad. Fortification will fly out. Is it going to be enough to stop them on the sidelines? The Moonlight Shadow will go. Looking to make the jump in, and they might catch out. There it is. Ball Lightning. They catch out on Shanks. They want to take him down immediately, even though he has no mana to work with. With the help of the Pounce and one more right click, he will end up falling. Centaur throws out the stun. They're going on whatever right now, but she's a little hard to take down. Meatball will fly out. Looking to go back on fullback, but fullback under the shadow will not be seen, and quickly will be able to see
Pat Soul's doing work. They're turning it around. Fullback getting caught out now. The Blade Fury. Does he have pounds? Oh, no, he does not. Triple kill. Pat Soul waiting for the right time to use that Omni. They clean house. Yes, you got a really good fight going early on for Isurus, but all of a sudden...
They want more. They want more, baby. Look at that. Respect me as I try to right-click you down, and he gets it. Oh, quick hoof stomp wasn't quite there, and wow, that's 5 all day.
Yeah. Suddenly, Pat Soul is like, listen, you guys were questioning the Juggernaut pick earlier. I got this. Omni Slash, not even an issue at all. They all got super low. Pat Soul waited as long as he possibly could to hold that ability. Blade Furies as well to grab a couple kills. Shanks is like, listen, I'll take my death if it means you guys live and get a couple of kills going that way. So I don't think there were any buybacks there. In fact, yeah, I'm sure of it. And all of a sudden now, top 5, they've narrowed the lead. In fact, they now have a 3,000 gold lead going their way. With all of the towers, with all of the fighting happening, they've got the lead, the experience, even after a 5,000 experience lead at one point for Isurus, and top 5 are looking very, very good.
Yep, and we'll see if they just can't keep this team game going. They feel like they're winning a lot of these fights and they're getting their objectives completed, so why not just keep it going right here? Bit of early aggression with the help of the Treants here in the mid lane, but they're looking to finally congregate and make something happen. Roshan's up, but neither team really has a lot of damage. I mean, you can do it with the wards, but Shakes here, man. The guy who's always flirting with danger. Throws out some set of wards, will not see anything as there's no proper vision on Isurus Gaming side, so they don't really see what's happening. They're going to ping it out, and they know the ward's there, but man, the control is just here for top 5. Arrow will not catch.
Yeah, even if it did, there was no follow-up damage coming through, so...
Just for scouting.
Yeah, and sneaking a Roche maybe earlier for Isurus was an opportunity for them, but they need a medallion or something. They need armor reduction, something that can actually help them take Roche. I don't know if they have got enough. If they did try to take it, take very long time. Even with Essence Shift in the Slark, it's just not enough damage really. So the only option for a Roshan comes out from top 5, and like you mentioned, they've got to use Serpent Wards for that, but that's not even that big of an issue. It's not that long of a cooldown, and they can even smoke in if they really wanted to, but they're going to look for a pick-off instead, and they're going to find the Mirana. The Mirana, though, has Leap. It's level 1. Fullback might not be so lucky he gets hexed up. They use the Stampede. Now you can see 999 initiating, but he gets counter-initiated on. The hexes up, the Shackle's going. Meatball doing work. Moonlight Shadow flying. Can Fullback turn this around? DDX getting low. The mech keeps everyone up right now for top 5, except for the Rasta. Now backing away is going to be pretty much everybody as they've spent all of their cooldowns. The Ball Lightning came through from, of course, DDX, but he doesn't want to be involved in another death. They're pinging on him. The Sunstrike just missing. Fullback Gonna escort him back home now, and the rest of the squad here for top 5, maybe looking for a tier 2 top.
Dire's top tower.
That was a bit sloppy at the start for Isurus Gaming. I mean, they were trying to make the jump. Some were looking to get away from any potential danger, while Centaur was just like, I'm ready to go, baby. Made the jump right in, and it was a bit wishy-washy for him, and the team fight's still in favor of top 5. They pick up a tower for themselves, but that's no surprises, man. Anytime they can come out on top in any of these fights, expect them to take a structure, whether it be a tier 3 tower now, maybe the mid-tier 2, maybe a set of racks. You can't hand anything over in these team fights because you're going to suffer some big repercussions.
Yeah, and speaking of handing something over, Storm jumped from pretty much base to the Furion, who was TPing right about down here, essentially, and he just made it out alive. There was no Vortex mana there. Shanks now getting arrowed. Will they defend this? They've only got a couple here ready to go. Stampede, I don't think, is up. Yeah, still on cooldown for about 10 seconds. He's got his blink, though. But now the tier 2s continue to fall, and early game, Isurus had it, but this push and Pat Soul doing work. Now, maybe an S&Y, and I said maybe don't even go for an Aghanim Scepter. He seems to be heeding that advice. He can go for a Manta if he wants to go for extra split push, which actually makes more sense. So probably a Manta actually coming out for Pat Soul right now. Wow, that arrow connected, long range on whatever, but no way to follow that up. I don't know what fullback's doing. He's hunting for a courier.
Fullback has been clearing out the way from behind just to try to prevent them from getting the extra creep momentum down the mid. So he kind of has been clearing ahead, but now he's not even closer being involved in this one. They're moving on to the Roche. They don't even need to use the wards. They have plenty of troops here to soak up the damage and put it out, but nearby jump in ball lightning now. They want to try to steal it.
Got it.
He took it back for himself. Very nice snag on their part, but they're going to try to make it worth their while. Wards will end up going down, but they're not going to be anyone near. Just a trap in the meantime on Shanks himself. He trapped himself to get himself out of there. Now I guess he'll TP back to base. Isurus Gaming only lose 4-1. Grab the Aegis. Jump in from Storm Spirit, but no more mana to work with right here. So, man, DDX doing what a Storm Spirit. Yeah, I'm done.
All right. It was fine, man. Got it. But yeah, that's an exceptional play. And the even cooler thing and the even better thing about that engagement was that it wasn't really an engagement at all. It was like DDX was like, listen, that I will essentially. Oh, no, Hydra. Boom. Come on, you got to dodge that. Go like any which way, but like this way. So. But yeah, DDX jumped in, got the Roshan real quick, jumped out, and no one else had to really commit to that. I think, I don't know if anyone jumped into that pit besides DDX. I don't think anyone really did. They were wrapping around, but then they just decided to say, listen, we don't have to fight this. We can back now that we've got the Aegis, and they're happy with it. That's maybe the first victory for Isurus that they've gotten in some time, so.
Yeah, it's good for them. This game is pretty even, surprisingly. And what looked like top 5, definitely being on top. Nice little play coming out there from Isurus, pulling the creep wave in the middle back and being able to make a push in and happen and quick snag of the Aegis later. And now we got much more of an even game. And we'll kind of see what Top 5's next game plan is going to be. Nature's Prophet, Book 3 is now online, so he has all that extra pushing power to come out on the side if he wants to dig down deep into his inner Master Splinter, if you will, and really rat it out. But they might also have to deal with the Isurus Gaming here, congesting themselves in the mid lane, might be looking for a push on their own. Can't really commit to anything, though, it looks like.
I don't really know what to do here, it seems like, for Isurus. They have an Aegis, but it's kind of like, well, I caught a car, I'm a dog, but I don't know really what to do with it now that I've got it here. So, and you talked about how the Rat is going to be coming in, and it already really is. And the Necro 3 now on the Invoker 2 is even a bigger deal. So there are so many summons that it's disgusting that Isurus are kind of going to be almost at a loss to deal with this. They've got to find a team fight that suits their needs, where they aren't dealing with these summons, where they aren't dealing with maybe the Serpent Wards. It's going to have to be on their terms, and the only way they could do that is by smoking up and try to find somebody out, or even Moonlight Shadow.
Oh, nice. That was a bit dirty. Bottom lane, Shadow Demon steps in with his own Sentry Ward, wants to take out the ward, gets it, but then Nature's Prophet steps in and pops his book and clears out the counter and still gets to hold on to his own. Oh no, doesn't see the ops there. They now see it. And he's cleaning it up.
High ground, yeah. Well played using the Necro Warriors. Obviously, anytime you have a Necro, you got to make sure you start dewarding. And now it seems like map control is going the way of top 5 as well. So a bit questionable early on in the game and how much pickoffs Isurus got, obviously, in top 5, just kind of getting behind and more behind and more behind. But and kind of like the first game to a certain extent as well. But now top 5 are playing a very solid game here. They're playing a game where they know how to control the tempo. They just push, and that's it. They try to find pickoffs. They try to find kills. They take Roshan when they can. Unfortunately, it doesn't go their way, and they lose both the Roshan and the Aegis. But that's the only thing they've lost in the past couple of minutes. They're counter-warding, they're getting map control, and for Isurus, the clock really is ticking. I mean, They've got to get some farm up with the Slark and the Mirana. Mirana's sitting on phase drum, Slark's sitting on an ultimate orb, we can have Keela and Treads, but that's it. Even the Invoker now is starting to get more farm, but there is the Scotty, as I say that, the Slark just rushing the Scotty, not even Lothar's. I guess no Lothar is necessary when you're getting pushed in.
Pepita got a bit, ambitious with a ward or an arrow rather from behind, but it won't catch the mark, and they ping her up, but she quickly will TP away. But while Pepita, man, put on a clinic in the early game.
Right.
At this point, though, Mirana, drums, and that's it. Not much to work with right now. Clearing out this wave in the top, though, but I mean, Slark is the best thing you got going for you in the late game, and there's only so much a Slark can do when you're going against the good book, and that means copious amounts of Necro books and Treants and everything coming away. Sunstrike catches himself, but nothing too serious.
And the Hydra actually just narrowly avoiding that. That was scary. He ran right away as soon as that Sunstrike came through, but it's weird because we've seen a lot of Miranas tonight just not be that effective later on down the road, and it's something that I think is really the biggest issue with this hero is that if you're not playing her as the one, if you're not playing her as the hard farmer, then she's going to pretty much, her only effectiveness is Moonlight, arrows, and obviously creep clearing with Starstorm. You do have a drum charge, and you can do some right click, but at this point, I think even the Furion does more now. Yeah, he absolutely does with Phase and a Necro and a Midas, so the arrow's going to fly, it's going to miss up in this top lane, and everyone else is smoked up ready to go, and it looks like maybe another clash coming through for either team to win.
Just a lot of the potential and synergy that they had before in the early game is just starting to fall off. We're not going to see any more of those sweet disruption arrows now. There's just too much team play happening. Blink in coming out. Oh, Shanks wants a bit of redemption after all the harassment from earlier. Jumps in with an Ether Shock, and Centaur is going to eat a Sunstrike. Plenty of damage to come. Might fall here, going down the stairs. Does. Pops his global for everyone else, but he is unable to get away.
Yeah, and that global actually being used unsuccessfully. I guess you could say successfully if no one else got picked off, but Fullback's doing a nice job. They know that they have the creep wave going in their advantage right now. It's pushing in very close to this tier 2 tower. They probably won't go for it. They'll just force the TPs and then back off. So this is how you have to play up against the Rat, I suppose. Just try to push out your waves, get what farm you can, and then when you find an opportune moment when all of the waves are pushed out, you go for a kill or a team fight. But now Fullback, he is doing the wrong thing. He's too far in. He gets hexed up right now. The right click, the Sunstrike. The Shadow Dance keeps him alive. He's going to try to pounce up to the high ground, and he should make it out alive. That Sunstrike needed to hit, and it didn't. If it did, he goes down for sure. He'll pick up an Invis now, and he'll probably just run away. They still might have vision with a Sentry or anything like that, but Fullback's a little too speedy, so they can't catch him, and he is very lucky to be alive right now.
Shanks should have saved the Sentry, blinked, and then dropped the Sentry, and just hoped he picked the right way that he went, and then he might be able to catch up with him. But unfortunately, he will have to make the long trip home, and they'll take advantage, though. They'll move down the mid lane then, where they know that Slark kind of had to blow all of his load, and they'll see if they can make something happen here. And Forge Spirit's already popped. I'm sure Nature's Prophet can make a TP happen here if they want to make a go at the mid lane. Arrow flies out. Will actually catch on Shanks, but they're not going to be able to make something happen. Shanks does have wards, immediately drops them. They want to go for a tier 3. Fortification already pulled out. Can they clear out these wards before they do too much, or can he control the wards and have them attack the tower? Here we go. Jump in. Centaur with the ultimate right now. Might blow up in his face, but whatever. Eating a lot of damage. Desperate mechanism. Can he keep alive from the Slark? Slark can't commit to it. And now they're looking to jump over, and they manage to burst down the Shaman. Fly also in trouble. Gets out the Meteor. Whoa, and will end up falling in the end. Now looking to control his books. Nature's Prophet shows up. Now looking to catch out, and will take out the Shadow Demon. So very nice on their part. Look at this army go. The wards going to town. The summons. The cavalry. Now looking to clear out the whole mid game here. And Fullback can only do so much as just one little Slark.
He's going to jump in with that pounce right now. He's going to get turned around with a right click, but I think that deterred them for the remainder of the push. And they've almost taken this range max. It will not regen, and in fact, it's going to go down. You look at it, the Forged Spirits and the Necro unit's too strong. Essentially a free set of racks, because that was all happening while a fight was going the way of both the Isurus and top 5. They traded evenly in terms of kills, but they had to use a couple of buybacks. The Omni Slash went through. The Ball Lightning, the BKB, which was just purchased up not too long ago for the Storm Spirit. So DDX actually did some nice initiation. They knew they had to go sooner rather than later. But unfortunately, they can't save their racks. And now they're going to be working from behind. And now that they're working from behind, I mean, I feel like they could just continue to rat this out with Serpent Wards, and you can even count on the right click a little bit later of the Juggernaut now that he's got a Manta and a Basher going his way. They'll smoke up. They want to try to find something. Roshan, that's not going to be something they're looking for. Pat Soul, maybe. He has Blade Fury. He's got Manta Style. He's got Drum. He's got a lot to get out. They're going to run right into him. DDX maybe looking for that Orchid. He pops it first. Nice Manta out of there. They TP with the Blade Fury. No way. They get this kill. Arrow wouldn't have mattered, so... Nice play using... Oh, man, that Manta out of the Orchid, just exceptional.
That's just something you don't see in pub play. That's just what separates you from a pub player and just a player who could take it to the next level. Just the quick know-how of quickly popping out that Manta and getting out of that Orchid and being able to spin away from that. So good move there from Pat Soul. Just nice proper play. Felt something was fishy and just got himself out of a quick bind.
Yeah, and I mean... The Orchid came first, and he tried jumping in for that pull. He was just out of range of it, so he would have to jump in there for a second, but... Unfortunately, they just couldn't grab the kill there on Patsville, who's a pretty high-value target at this point. If they can force him to use buyback, which probably wouldn't happen, but if they could force him to at least go down and get the gold that he's got going their way, I mean, it would be at least something of worth. So now, 19-21, the top 3 in net worth, obviously on top 5, and they're leading by a bit. The next closest DDX, he's pretty much even with the rest of them as it stands, but now it's been a consistent increase in this graph here. A couple of, maybe... small little valley here and there, but for the most part, it's been a constant increase up to 10K for top 5. And experience-wise, it's still even, but that's all that's really necessary, I think, for this game, for top 5 to take it. And yeah.
I don't think they can. It's going to be too much of an uphill to climb. I mean, anytime they want top 5 can just like bull rush themselves into the base, drop everything they have, the wards, the books, the spirits that you can't clear out all. They don't have enough AoE to just clear everything out. They got a bit there with the Death Pact and the Stomp and a little bit of a Starstorm here and there, but there's only so much you'll be able to do. And I don't know. It will take a bit of a Hail Mary play for the Isurus gaming to get this one back.
Yeah, I agree. I think, honestly, a set of racks down, yeah, that's fine. In any other game, maybe you say that's okay. But against this type of pressure that top 5 are putting on, it's just too much. And whatever in the rest of the lineup for top 5 can either look for a pick-off, look for the next Roshan, or even just push in with the Serpent Wards and your summons again and go for another set of racks. And you actually look at what's happening top. The Treants and the Necrobook 3 are going to go and they're going to try to take this tier 3. So now, if you're out of position for Isurus, you've got to commit at least 1 or 2 heroes to defending this. And the tier 3 already at least taking some damage, and that's really all they wanted. It's at half health, just from that. A nice micro of the Necro Warrior to make sure he gets the Stomp missed. He'll die anyways, obviously, but that tier 3 falling very low already.
All they got to do is just stick to a game plan like that. Just throw in a little bit of army on your own on the sidelines and try to go for a formal push maybe on the opposite side of the map. I mean, the Suitors can't possibly commit all 5 into it because then they'll have to sack a bit of a tier 3 tower potentially on the opposite side of their base. So, why not take advantage of the number game here? Look at this. Fullback is in a bit of a cautious situation. He's good. Oh, the jump over. Did they see that?
I don't know, actually. It looks like they didn't pick it out, so I'd imagine
whatever.
I'm pretty sure fullback just that, and now he's going to cut the creep wave, which is pretty much all I can do in this scenario, and it's so annoying when you're pushing in and your creep wave's being cut by an enemy player, but that's what you have to do. But it doesn't matter because they have so many summons right now. This will put it into backdoor as soon as this creep wave goes down, but as it stands right now, 999 looking to jump in. This is the Stomp. Stampede is up. Hex now. BKB for DDX looking for Fly. Fly getting low, but the Omni Slash doing work. Jumping between a lot of the summons coming through and a lot of the damage being done already. One down, that's Fly. Fullback and the rest of the team are doing work here. Now Hydra getting Blade Fury, and he's the first to fall besides the Marauder who bought back. Now, respect my authority. Trying to, of course, use that right click of his. The impetus damage doing work. Fullback going on the high ground. He's done. 999 falls as well. Fly getting a double with the Forge Spirits. The next set of racks going to go down, leaving 1 alive. That's top. And really, right now, as it stands, that's pretty much the only thing they can count on is that top set of racks. And even that is still very... It almost feels as if Isurus are going to call GG. And there it is. It goes out. Top 5. They even up the series. A well-played series nonetheless. But top 5 with that rat cell pushing Dota, they get it done.
Yep, it's a style that a lot of players can typically frown upon, but it's a style that can work. So, and top 5 show it right there, and they do manage to even things up. And what looked like a Isurus gaming very promising game last time, and even the early game in this one, you got to remember, man, all those Mirana, all those disruption arrow combos were just looking so good. Top 5 was really having a hard time, but man, when it comes to Necrobook and Rat Gaming, you're able to find the farm you need and just take it right back to them. And while there was a great fight happening outside of the base, those wards were just staying strong and just withering away the rest of the racks. And I don't think there was anything Isurus could do. So after that all or nothing play, they had to throw up the white flag.
It's just kind of it's pretty much inevitable, I feel like, when you have this kind of lineup. And they got off to the start that was rough, admittedly, but top 5 were able to rein it in. And once you get those Necros going, it's really hard to stop that kind of pressure and push without any farm on the Mirana or on the Slark. So Isurus, they got one game going their way up against a team that's pretty decent, honestly. Top 5, we've talked about them since really, I guess, the last time I saw them in CEVO or in whatever tournament they've been in. They've done very well for themselves, but they only split the series 1-1. That'll be it, guys. We've got no games until about next week. I believe April 22nd or 23rd is the next game. April 22nd, Tuesday, starts off with CNB versus Shadows and Osiris versus Union. So that'll be actually starting at 7 again. So 7 o'clock for the most part when it comes to the American Dota League, guys. Obviously, a lot of Dota action happening this week with Star Ladder and everything going on. So, of course, stay inside and enjoy Dota if it's a bit cold out here. In the Northeast, it's obviously freezing for whatever reason. But, guys, it's been a pleasure casting for you. Make sure you check out highground.tv for more information on us, Coddle Guy, and myself. Follow the American Dota League at twitter.com/AmericanDota and twitch.tv/American Dota League. My name is Malt. You can follow me at twitter.com/MaltDota2. You can follow Coddle Guy at twitter.com/Coddle Guy. Any comments, criticisms, concerns, you can make that shout out in chat. I guess any shout outs, Coddle Guy, before we head out of here?
No, none too much. I will do a small shameless self-plug. Tomorrow is actually going to be eHug's second community event where I will be joining eHug's Jigglebilly and we'll be casting a particular pub game. Should be a lot of fun. You know, we'll be able to poke fun at them, obviously, but of course we also will be giving a fair amount of knowledgeable information for maybe any newer Dota players, and we'll also be giving away some keys because why not, right? That's going to happen over at twitch.tv/CoddleGuy tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to check it out.
Looking forward to that, obviously. Big fan of eHugs. But as it stands now, for all the Dota action here tonight on the ADL, we are done. So we will throw it over to the commercial, guys. Make sure you guys have a good night. Take it easy, everybody. Adios.